Yeah, I totally forgot to change the writing in the question of the day stuff, so I'll do that really quick. And I also think my Game Boy is muted. And by Game Boy, I mean emulator. I think this will be a quick stream. My hypothesis is that the stream doesn't need to be too long as it's consistent. Because I'm trying to build a habit. It's kind of like we're going to the gym, actually. But yeah, hello. I hope everybody's day is going well. I expended a lot of my brain power today working. Quote unquote working, but that's why I needed to find a game to relax. And I looked through my library a little bit and I was like, wow, there's not a huge selection of games I can use to de-stress, but this is one of those, Emerald Rogue. So let me just unmute it. Why does it sound more to the right than the left?
My genius will be understood eventually.
Ah, it's because the headphones are broken. Thank you for the follow, Aki the Swamp Witch. I hope you're having a good day. So I already have a file here. The audio should be playing. Let's see how loud it is. Is it not capturing? Let me correct that really quick. Maybe it just involves clicking this guy. Oh no, we're looking for Pokemon Fire, so this is not correct. We want Emerald. So then when the frame rate is hit on the emulator, it should pick up the audio. And we're waiting for a flat 60. Come on, I know you can hit 60. I'm watching that frame counter in the top. It's dancing between it. There we go. Did you pick up though? That's so weird. Maybe it's this executable thing. But yeah, you guys can't hear the game audio, right? That's what it says on my end. And I mean, that's fine. I could probably just replace it with music. Well, let's load into the game. I already have a file in here. And this is basically a... No game audio? Okay, I'll look into it. The PEX. This is the wrong game, actually. Because if this is the PEX, that means it's not the... Okay, so we'll try and fix this, actually. This PC, it should be on my desktop. There we go. Oh, we're in the middle of an adventure. Well, I guess we could finish that one. But it's basically a Pokemon roguelike. Which I think Pokemon does lend itself to. We can fix this scuff up first. $60. And now do I wait for you to hit 60? And then I should see the volume light up. Conversely, I could just make an entirely new thing for the audio capture. Which I might do if I see it hit 60 and then it doesn't pick up. .3, 60.1. I wish you guys could see the frame rate. So we'll try to do this correction, and if then remaking it doesn't work, I'll just use my own music. Okay, you know what? I'm going to cap the frame rate at 60. And that should dodge the issue. which should be a video setting. Gameplay interface. Emulation. We don't want to rewind. Rewind is a bit of a cheat. Audio, video. FPS, target, sync video. So the target is 60, but it's not hitting 60. So we're just gonna try just remaking it entirely. I wonder what the cause is. But we'll remove this, create a new audio capture. Pokemon Emerald Rogue. Audio capture. It's still nothing. That's super weird. All right, well, I'll make a note of this to look into after, because I can do this off stream. For now, I actually just want to play the game, so where's my note for stream stuff? There we go. Fix MGBA audio capture. So yeah, that's super weird. Which definitely involves muting here and then going to music B. The Pokemon soundtrack might actually be thematically appropriate to the Pokemon game. Or we could use the Fire Emblem soundtrack. That'd be pretty funny. I've used it a lot. But Pokemon switches here, wait. Show me your volume level. Okay, and we'll fix one more thing. This all should have been done in advance, but I went to get a donut and a nice cappuccino, so we ended up behind schedule. So we correct this. Okay, that's pretty funny to read. And throw this in here. At some point I'm gonna... Oh. Okay, maybe not that one. Yo, what if I just keep the chipmunk question? That'll be the permanent question for a little while I determine what would be the best one. I want to start cycling through, but we don't have enough question quantity to do so. And can I add spaces? Oh, I can. There we go. Yeah, so we're building up the lore live. For now, let's assess what's going on with the game itself. Okay, so we have a sun team. And by that I mean Ninetales has Drought. And Arcanine is a fire type, and Larvesta hasn't evolved yet. And then the rest of our team is Grass and Steelix. So the rest of them are weak to fire. This might work though. Let's look at the stats and stuff. That's pretty good. That's fully built. Do you have Drought? Okay, so this Ninetales is fully functional. This guy will need to evolve into Volcarona. Arcanine will be pretty good with Extreme Speed to pick off enemies. And I like the Steelix set. Okay, so this is a solid lineup to start with. And we're level 49, meaning that we're not at max level, because it should go to 55. And there's a Rotom Mow, a Magneton, a Clink, and a Tinkatink. Tinkatink? I think it goes Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, Tinkatun. So that would be Tinkatuff. For now, though, we need to level up. Yeah, have you guys ever played any ROM hacks? For any GBA game? But it could be any game, really. It doesn't matter which. I'm just playing a GBA ROM hack right now. It's kind of crazy what you can do with ROM hacks now. Play some ROM hacks, but I'm trying to find the right thing to suit your taste. Oh, what are those tastes? Like what base game, and then what are you looking for? Because that will narrow down your criteria. Oh, welcome to the stream, Astro. You know, we got the VIPs handed out. I figured out how to do that yesterday. An FE8 randomizer. What are they randomized? Like the units you get themselves, or their classes? Probably both, right? Base game don't matter so long as there's many Pokemon, as many Pokemon available as possible. Units, classes, stats, and growths. Oh, okay, so you could get like so someone with a bad growth rate, or bad growths, who would have a bad growth. Some bad unit could basically get salvaged, and you could actually use them. That sounds pretty fun. And the base game doesn't matter. You might want to try Pokemon Unbound. I've had a few friends that like that. Because there are some... Yo, what is this song? It's just a battle. I think the Fire Emblem soundtrack is better for Pokemon than... My first playthrough was lost because Seth was a dancer. I want something that will get me immersed in the story, but also with a lot of personal customization. This is Swamp Witch, but in the Pokemon universe, so if there's... Saw a gym leader when I would try out. Okay, I don't know if I can get as specific as this is the Swamp Witch. You probably want like an Animal Crossing Pokemon hybrid. So the gym one is ah, no, there is one. Seth was a dancer. Dude, Seth being a dancer sounds so grief. Like, would you keep Seth bases? Because I noticed units... Oh, no, stats are bases, right? So I thought that, you know, Seth wouldn't matter anymore because it's all random. You couldn't get past the first map. Oh, wait, no, that makes sense. Never mind, I understand. Your units are bad, and you only have a fighter, Erica. And there it went. Let me customize my character. Maybe a house that would be awesome, the gym leader one. Okay, there is actually a game that, that fits that now that I'm remembering. It is called Pokewilds, and let me try and get an actual link to it. It's a Gen 2 ROM hack, and it is like a base builder. It's kind of fun actually, but I want to find the right link to it. But there is no story, so having story would be like one thing. I feel like you'd have to split it in half, like a good story, and then also like one where you can insert yourself into it. Well, I mean, there are probably somewhat self-inserts. Maybe Unbound. Let me look at Pokemon Unbound. This is an usually I have these ROM hacks I used to have them off the top of my head when I was running the Pokemon Club, because I would give people recommendations. Unbound. Describing what... Oh, okay. And Erica being a fighter sounds awful. Like, I swear axes are like the worst weapon in the... of the group. Swords, lances, and axes. So... it's not a ROM hack, it is a Gen 2 game. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think then the ROM hack would be something like Sea Glass? Maybe not. Or Pokemon Crystal Clear. Because, yeah, there are two types of Pokemon fan games. The ones that are like remakes of it, and then ones that are actual ROM hacks. Yeah, I think Pokemon Crystal Clear would be a good pick. That would be my recommendation. Standalones, aka copyright infringement. Yeah, that one would be a lot more dangerous than a straight up ROM hack, because you're just remaking the entire game. And so let me find a link for the Reddit of Pokemon Crystal Clear. This one's quite pretty with the sprite work. Yeah, Infinite Fusions is also one of those remakes. I don't know if Poke Wilds was made in RPG Maker, but a lot of the Pokemon fan games are made with RPG Maker, because you have the Pokemon Essentials. So I think Pokemon Insurgents is a RPG Maker game. Infinite Fusion is definitely it's pretty good. It has a little bit of something for everybody, with the sprites and the story. I don't think you can build a house though, like in Breath of the Wild. The charcoal seems pretty good. And I think I might want Tinkaton? Steel Fairy is a really strong type combo. Pokewilds is a game engine written in assembly. Wait, isn't that what the actual games are made in? Assembly? So they actually just remade it using the same language? Is that the right term? Is there a different word you can use for it? Like, are they grouped up in bunches? Because, like, the hardware of the Game Boy limits the functionality. Oh, okay. Yeah, with respect to stuff like audio, right? Well, as in, like, easy example. Or a space limitation. Because you can only do what the hardware allows you to do. That's pretty cool, actually. There's so many methods to make a Pokemon fan game. So it's kind of crazy that they chose to build it from scratch. Like, straight up, in assembly. But the game plays so much differently than, regular Pokemon that you kind of understand why. But even still, you have other examples like, the RPG Maker ones, the hex edited ROM hacks, and then also the decomp ROM hacks. It's there are a lot of resources if you want to make a game. Any type of game, really. Definitely empowering. Also, I'm super recalibrating to this run. I usually, over the course of a run, I build attachment to my team, but these are just like random Pokemon I picked off the street, I think. Like, I don't remember getting any of them. But I think there must be a stream in the archives where I did this, because I feel like I don't play this game much off stream. But maybe they just appeared in my party, and they're here to hang out. A full Sun team. Those decomp and hex insertion are functionally the same thing, it's just ease of the work environment. Wait, so can you increase the space with a hex insertion? Because I know there was things you can code into decomp to increase the space. Like there's some that makes it more, some coding changes you can make to make the used up space more efficient. So like cast form takes up a lot of excess space. Okay, that makes sense. I know that people run into trouble when making, because I've been trying to, what you were doing is functionally writing a new game. Yeah, because you have to compile it with the decomp. Whereas with the hex editor, you're going in and like altering it a little bit. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's like if you get into the nitty-gritty, like yeah, there are differences, but broadly they're kind of fundamentally similar. You start with the base game and you rewrite over it with whatever you want to make. What level does Larvesta evolve into Volcarona? Is it like 59 or something like that? I know High Dragon is absurd at like 64. Let me drink some water. But what I'm thinking is we can rare candy up Larvesta into Volcarona. It's 59? Okay. And then the follow-up question is, should we bestow a name onto Larvesta? Because it's weird to have these Pokemon without nicknames. It makes it kind of impersonal. Though I'd be down to give it like a code name. QD, Quiver Dance. This might make the game super easy. But with our lack of type diversity, it'll be a shot in the dark. So let's try and catch a Tinkaton. We'll use the Decidueye, and then I'll have to think whether I want to... Like, if I'm going to replace Rotom Mo with one of my guys, and I think I might, because Rotom Mo is pretty good. But show me the Tinkaton. There we go. I mean, we'll catch you too. Nasty Plot Sucker Punch is not good. Nasty Plot doubles the special attack, and then Sucker Punch is a physical move. So this is the weirdest Decidueye set of all time. So I'm down to just lose it for Rotom. Do we have a Quick Ball? No, but we do have Ultra Balls. For now, let's just use Pluck and try to whittle it down. Alright, I guess we're throwing out the Decidueye. We caught your replacement, Robin. Goodbye. I think I'm gonna call you Leprechaun. How the hell do you spell leprechaun? That's one of those weird words. I think the guy who did Yoda did the Leprechaun horror movies. That's where my brain is going, because there was a scene I read, because I'm too scared for horror movies, so sometimes I'll just read the wiki, and I read one for Leprechaun, and then someone died in a lawnmower, and I thought that was super scary. And leprechauns are green, so clearly this works. Yeah, I don't know why I read that. Much too young to be reading something so grotesque. And I never really wanted to. I never planned on watching the movie anyways, because it's kind of like gratuitous horror. But yeah, let's grab a Tinkatuff now. World Breaker is pretty good. We have Trick, but no item. We have Sub, which I think is good. And Shockwave will do enough damage. We'll have to quickly go through the move list and fix up our new guys. Oh, Skitter Smack is super effective. Alright, we're getting out of there. I don't want you to die to our Tinkaton. Do you have Chlorophyll? You have Swarm. I think I'd rather have 2 steel types than 2 grass types. It would be very sad if you got 1v1 by this thing. Come on, you can do it. And then we catch. And then replace the flash. You know, Chlorophyll could be kind of good, though. So it could be a world where we drop Steelix. But I really like Steelix's defense. So between, like, Tinkaton and Steelix, we should be covered defensively. Which is weird, because we're stacking up on a lot of types, but I feel like it'll work. Dude, we're calling you MC Hammer. I think Tinkaton is one of the best lines in the new games. My favorite is Hydrapple. But Tinkaton is up there too. Let's see if we can learn a move that's useful. Baby Doll Eyes is priority, so it could be useful for debuffing, but I don't think there's anything here that is specific to the line, so we'll just straight up evolve it. But yeah, Gigaton Hammer. Dude, the name is compressed because of the space limitation for characters, like a character limit. Which doesn't exist in the new games. I guess for names of Pokemon, right? Because you can't nickname something excessively long. But for move names, at least they can be longer. Why do you want to learn Skitter? Didn't we just lose Skitter Smack? We'll drop Flatter, but I'll replace it with something else anyways. Because I do want to keep the other moves. Fake Out will be useful for whittling people down, especially if we have a Whisper or a Toxic. So we can confuse, we can debuff, we can steal. Rock Smash could be useful for fighting coverage, but I don't think we need damage. We have Fake Out, Play Rough, Gigaton. Okay, you know what? I'm going to save that last slot for a utility move. I don't know what our map's going to look like. But I do know if I bring out Ninetales again, I can quickly catch up the other two to level. Magneton is likely to have Sturdy, so... Show me... I walked past something that I could just roast like this. This is perfectly sufficient. Okay, and we got new moves. Maybe this will change the Tickaton meta. Knockoff. Yup. Goodbye, Skitter Smack. I don't know how useful items are, but it's definitely better than Skitter, so... Let me reorganize these moves as well so they make sense. That, no, like that. Yo, what's so funny, Ace Roy? What happened? This is no, That's not a laugh? It's a cry of victory. Oh, dude, the progress. I was thinking, should I ask if you've made any progress? But that's, okay, that's not a funny laugh. That's a maniacal evil genius, like it worked, ha 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 laughter. Like, Frankenstein has just gotten up from the... Okay, I get it. And this time I'm not running for my life in Hollow Knight, so I can actually just quickly check to see what you've made. If you'd like to share it. But what do you mean by shader? It's a red square. Is a shader something for lighting? It used to be an animated sprite. Or is a shader like a replacement? Like if you have a shader pack in Minecraft, it changes how it looks. Shader is rewriting the image data. Oh, so like if you X-ray in Minecraft and you make everything invisible, that's a shader because it's rewriting the images to be all invisible except for diamond. So functionally, this means you can. Oh wait, that's super powerful because you have the animated. That's just the texture having no alpha. But imagine, okay, describe it for me. While I correct these move sets, because these are not good. This will get out of control really fast. Dude, I kind of wish it wouldn't have to be Gust. We'll just go Heat Wave, so, no, there's no doubles. We're only playing singles. So we'll just go Gust over Flame Charge. That it fades in and out of being visible and invisible. So shaders, they apply to the texture in real time. Or they apply to the sprite in real time. Right, so you can apply a shader to change what it looks like. Which I can kind of see the use case now because you can insert a sprite, you can have like a base sprite, and then just create a bunch of shaders that change the image. And now you're only working with one functional thing, and like a bunch of different variations of it with the shaders. Which should make your life easier, especially when it comes to making like a, you know, you can make every, if there's a standard number of frames, you just do all that. Okay, okay. Then yes, that is like a super powerful thing to have gotten down. How long were you working on it for? Just goddamn, you did that from scratch. Basically all day. Oh yeah, the bug has been infected now. The workaholic bug. Getting the sprite animated was easier. Yeah, but now that this is done, right? Like, it should be easier to, like, make another one. Because you told me you did the sprite animation in, like, 10 minutes. As long as you have the art assets. Because, like, implementation and, you know, art assets are, like, two different components. You did take a break at 4 to watch the Chargers beat the Broncos. Is that football? That sounds like football teams. And not baseball. or basketball. Well, you would charge in football, actually. That makes complete sense. You're a big sports fan? Yo, what sports do you watch? Like all of them? I think the most I've engaged with sports is playground, like on the playground with the homies, or on the Nintendo DS with FIFA, playing with the Sibs. Mostly football and basketball. Okay. Is there a lot of drama in sports, like between players? Ones you enjoyed most growing up? Yeah, that makes sense. Not really. Like, there's no timeout box, because I think there's a penalty box in hockey, ice hockey. And you do have the yellow-red card system in soccer or European football, but I don't know if the same is the case for... Oh, was that a shiny? No, that was just my... There will just be players like Antonio Brown who crashed. Okay, what did Antonio Brown do? I have no idea who that is, but what makes his crash out particular? I'm prepared to be educated. Because I know some people do it for political stuff too. It might have been a baseball game where someone stood when they should have kneeled or like did something to the American flag, and then everybody got mad. It would just be played after an overthrown ball. So they threw the football too far. He stripped off to just his pants and cleats and left in the middle of the game. What the heck? Was it funny to watch live? Oh yeah, okay. So maybe it was worth it for the laugh, because like, dude, he must have been so mad. He's crazy. Is that not the only thing he's done? Has he done more? Because I know some dude, where's the exit? And I also need to fix Rotom and heal them as well. We'll save our last rare candies, because we had 10 and we used 6 to get or no, we used 4 to get Larvesta of Volcarona. But I feel like the rest could be saved for getting to level 100 earlier. He once kicked a guy in the face during a play. Did he get penalized for it? Or did they just let it go on? Maybe like, no foul. Horse? Okay, so they got him. The best part about it. He could have just gone around the guy. Oh, so he chose to be evil and run through. Okay, that's kind of a mood. Because a lot of problems could be solved if you just be like, all right, not my circus, not my monkeys, and then you just ignore it. But holy moly, is it funny if the dude is just running straight, like he chose violence. He is also a for sure Hall of Fame wide receiver. Has he been inducted into the Hall of Fame? Or like he's gonna get it eventually? Like it's bound to happen. Not yet? Okay, so the psychos get their behavior excused. That's kind of sad. He will get it eventually. Not if he keeps not if he keeps staying super aggressive, right? Surely they'll stop him. Is there like a player that's really good in football or basketball that should be in the Hall of Fame but isn't? Like, what are the qualifications to get in there? Is it like getting an award like the Oscar or whatnot, where you have to be voted in by like people who reviewed you like your peak season? Plenty, it also has to be gate kept to a degree. Yeah, because you want to make sure it's prestigious. Because if everybody gets into the Hall of Fame, then like the title kind of loses meaning. You should like value every player, but the Hall of Fame is like reserved for the GOATs. It's voted on by a board. Okay. And do they get inducted at the end of the season? So they look at a season performance, or do they look at an overall performance and then be like, okay, right now this is the best player given the data, or like this player is worthy of getting into the Hall of Fame? Or is it like a sporadic distribution where it's like once a player has done something to get in there, it's a bunch of players get nominated and only some that reach a vote threshold are inducted in? Okay. Where is the exit? Usually long after they left the game. Yeah, I was thinking about that, like, most players don't get inducted until they're in their late 30s. Like, imagine if you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, like, in the middle of your career. Is your career over? Like, you just peaked there when you got into the Hall of Fame? That would be kind of depressing. Yeah, we're gonna try and go as far down as possible, because I'm sure there's somewhere we haven't explored yet. Yeah, like falling through here, right here. Oh, I skipped a legendary. No way. That little Rhydon statue is a legendary Pokemon. It could have been Genesect. I've been on the hunt for Genesect, but he's never come home. Because all the Pokemon that you get are random. This is the daycare lady, so I can pull up Pokemon that I've saved in the daycare, but I think I want to go prep them for battle. The rules is that they have to be retired for 5 full seasons before they can be nominated, so AB will be up for a nomination in 2027. Antonio Brown is AB. I thought you meant the AB as like a placeholder, but no, that is literally the acronym for Antonio Brown. It kind of sounds, it's reminding me of nomenclature in science, because they also have specific rules, and it's different for each group of organism. There's like the rules for zoology for the animals, rules for the plants, and then rules for the fungus and the other guys. And I think the one consistent rule is that you can't name it after you can't name a species after yourself. And that's probably to prevent people from just burning jealousy. Extrasensory. Prevent people from going in and just spamming species to get their name spread. Yeah, also if 2 species have the same name. They can't have the same. So the order is kingdom, phylum, class. No, wait. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. That's the order. And so species names can be the same, but I don't think genus names can be. So for example, the species name Domesticus, there's like Canis Domesticus and Gallus Domesticus. So when you do species, the binomial matters a lot. It's called a binomial nomenclature, because you do run out of words very quickly. And you did say 2 species, so the species level, like the species is a genus species, so it's not to say you're wrong, I'm just qualifying it a little bit. That's what you meant? Alright, I got you, bro. Figured I explained it better. Yeah, that's actually that was a good expectation. I don't know why I got worried that I was like being like a butt actually, when the point is for me to explain stuff. That's why I'm streaming. How strange. Zoology naming rules. I had to do this in the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. The ICZN, that's what it's called. Yeah, did you know people don't use the Hippocratic Oath anymore? There's like a different one. They replaced it. I didn't realize they replaced the Hippocratic Oath. I thought that was like something they took from the Greeks, but not. Got adapted for modern times. Dude, it has a whole preamble. Zoological nomenclature. The scope is probably just anything in the kingdom Animalia. But like, you know how doctors have to, like, in fiction, doctors will take the Hippocratic Oath, where it's like, you know, the code of ethics for doctors from the Greeks. Am I remembering that correctly? The Hippocratic Oath is a historic oath of medical ethics historically taken by physicians upon entering the profession to uphold specific ethical standards. Do we have the text? I swear by Apollo physician. You swear by the Greek pantheon. But if you look at it now, the doctors have to take the Hippocratic Oath. Yeah, doctors are not legally required to take the Hippocratic Oath, and you don't, instead you use, what do you use? There's like a different ethical, like they, one, they probably secularized it, and it's per area too. The Physician's Oath, Historical Perspectives. This is a paper that looks at it. The doctor-patient relationship is the heart of medicine. Informed medical... Okay, informed consent is huge for medicine. That's a big advancement in the medicine metagame. I thought there was a standardized code that people use now, but I guess it really depends on what your school is and where they're at. So let's say you graduated Harvard. Yo, it's a crime that they have this song. What is this song called? The Scions Dance in Purgatory, but not Twilight of the Gods in Smash Bros. Yeah, I can't find a unified Physician's Oath. But if I do, I'll put it in the Discord. But I was looking at zoological nomenclature. I want to see some of the weird rules. I want to see what's interesting here. The number of words in scientific names of animals. So this will go through all taxa in Animalia. Show me species. Binomen. Validity of names. Yo, this is super dense. Automatic determination of precedence of names. Erroneous reversal of precedence. Oh yeah, precedence matters a lot. It happens with the fossils. That was the whole Apatosaurus Brontosaurus thing, where you had two sauropods, and one of them called, one of them was called Apatosaurus, another one was called Brontosaurus. But then research in the future, suggested that these two were actually the same species, and we had split them up for no reason, or like, you know, splitting it up was inaccurate. So one of the names had to die, and I think that one was Brontosaurus, and people were pretty vexed about that. I think it almost happened to the Triceratops as well. There was a point in time where it was like the Triceratops name was about to like get over superseded by an older one that predates, because precedence is super important when it comes to nomenclature. I'm gonna try and get Leaf Storm on Rotom Mo. Encore on Tinkaton could also be good as well. Even Swords Dance. How much is that? 3,000. If I can get Substitute on Volcarona, perhaps, or like Roost. There we go. Yeah, even in both ecology and paleontology discussions, there's like weird philosophical approaches to it, and that's the whole lumping versus splitting thing. It's kind of a thing with modern zoology, where you have to go in and determine if something's a different species, because we have different species concepts, right? We have the there were different ways. So there are different ways we determine it. Like the easy one that we all use as a rough hand is if they can't interbreed to make viable offspring, then they're different species. And when we say viable, we mean that the offspring, the resultant or the kid or whatever, it can also breed and reproduce. So even though like a lion and a tiger can breed to make a liger, that liger is sterile, so it's a not viable offspring. So that kind of justifies why tigers and lions are like Panther or Leo for a tiger, Panther or Leo for a lion. How did I mess that up? And Panthera tigris or something like that for a tiger. Is that correct? I'm gonna fact check myself. Panthera tigris is the scientific name of a tiger. And that's only one of the ways we can use to separate out species. I've looked at Ninetales like 50 times. We need to get a last move. Oh, we need to fix Leprechaun, the Rotom Mo. But yeah, what has your guys' experience been with biology? Because I feel like if you take it in school, it's just anatomy. I might have asked this question before, but it's come up again, so... I just wonder how much science education is done about this stuff. So I feel like we don't want to be at Ninetales, we want to be at Rotom Mo. And now? You can show it off? Yeah, exactly. You can actually go take this information and look 10 times cooler wherever you want to use it, and it's a like a super net benefit, because not only we're gonna Wisp Hex is probably better than Thunderwave Hex. No, it's not. Oh, Thunderwave will cripple speed, and speed control is huge. But like as I was saying, right, like they learn, it gets passed on, and you look cool because you have knowledge, and then everybody's like, how did you learn that? And you got to keep it a secret, right? You got to just play it off as like, oh, I already knew that from the beginning. You guys got to study up. Because if you're doing it to troll rather than to be like, oh yeah, I'm smarter, then I think that's better for knowledge transference. But I wouldn't know. I have no horse in the race of science communication. I do want to kind of heal though. But yeah, one of the easiest ways to learn is to explain. Giving knowledge is helpful, you have to know when people are wanting to receive it. Yeah, exactly. I guess I can go on. I've gone on the tangent about the museum before, probably. But that was like a character moment for me. Because I took my dad and I just melted his brain with everything in the museum. And it was a natural history museum. So it had anthropological specimens, paleontological specimens, zoological specimens, and then also botanical. And these are just big words that mean fossils, animals, plants, and ancient human stuff, right? And like I saw people talking about stuff because I'm not the only one in the museum, right? Everybody else is learning too, and they're like, saying stuff that I'm like, yeah, that's not really true. But it would be completely psychotic to walk up and tell everybody why that's wrong for no reason, because part of the fun of going to the museum is to learn. So if I'm like walking around like a demon, being like, actually you're wrong, and taking that ability to learn from other people, that's kind of like gimping them in the long run. So I think learning how to learn is very important, or being motivated to learn is important, because the people at the museum are probably motivated by something that compels them to learn. So walking in and being like, actually, this is how this works, when they have no frame of reference for whether I'm right or wrong, would probably kill that motivation. So I just had to sit there and just accept my fate, as like I had knowledge of nearly like I swear to God, I don't mean like in the, like I took my dad to the mastodons and the mammoths, right? And this is just the first exhibit, because they had mammals. I'm gonna do a quick snooze so I can finish this anecdote. And I just sat him there, and he had to sit for like almost like 30 minutes or an hour or something while I attacked the two the mastodons and the mammoths from like every angle that I learned about in school, right? Like the difference between a mastodon and a mammoth is the tooth. Mammoths and elephants have dental batteries, and mastodons just have regular, mammalian tooth. So when that tooth turns into a like a fused sort of thing, it's called a dental battery when it's all fused. That's meant for more surface area and occlusion, so it can, cut up all the plants that it wants to eat more efficiently. Because at the end of like viable herbivores, like they're not carnivores, right? They're not going to be optimized to kill, right? The most viable herbivores are actually the most efficient machines for filtering through plant material, right? Because that's how you compete. Because you can imagine, like if you are something very large, like an elephant or a sauropod or a I guess a moose is also large. The ruminants are large mammals. Megafauna is sometimes what it's called. Like, if you're more efficient at digesting the plant matter, you're going to get to your max size faster. And then have that gigantic size protect you a bit from predators. And that's like one positive of it, right? It's also that, if there's scarcity in resources, that means you don't need as much plant material to survive because you're more efficient at digesting. So that's like a hypothetical explanation for why ruminants have 4 stomachs, right? Because it's about digestion and consumption efficiency, which is different from a predator, because predators kind of steal that efficiency from the herbivores, because the herbivores have already processed the plants into usable biomaterial or biomass, and so the predators like try to jump the gun, being like, okay, I'm not going to waste the evolution points digesting grass efficiently. I'm just going to go find one of the guys that are doing it and yoink it from them. And that's like the basis of a food chain. And so my brain is firing, and we're still at the mastodons and the mammoths, right? And then I was leveraging my knowledge from human osteology, where like the more used a bone is, the more tuberosities you'll see on the bone, right? And tuberosities are like where muscle's pulling on the bone, because there's like physical action of muscle on the bone. So I was looking for that on the mammoths and the mastodons, and there was like a male and a female. So I was also observing the gender differences for those specimens, because the female specimen was more gracile, right? Less tuberosities, less muscle wear on the bone, whereas the male one, bigger. They're using the muscles more for whatever they want to do, because they'll try to kill each other, the males. And so there my brain is. Like, you don't need to understand everything I'm saying. The point is that I'm hitting all of this stuff right in the entrance of the museum at the mastodons and mammoths. And my dad, who has no training at all, like, bro, he came from a different country and he studied computer engineering. It's just I kind of forced him to sit there and listen to all of this, which he had no frame of reference for. And I was like, dude, I can only do this because he's my father. I can't inflict this suffering on anyone else around me. So I had to sit with it in my brain. But it also meant I was super slow going through the museum as well. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was in Michigan. Like another small example, we don't need to use, we can use smaller deals, which we don't have. What was I? Yeah, so we go through, right? And we end up at, I think it was one of the plesiosaurs or ichthyosaurs, marine reptiles, which have polydactyly and something with their digits. Like they have multiple, like your finger bones, right? Your phalanges are composed of like individual, almost like Lego pieces, like Lego bricks of bone that are like snapping together to make one articulated, like hand, right? Like every point of articulation on your finger, like if you bend your finger, it's articulating where the bones are, right? Because bone won't bend, so you need to have bones and then apply muscles to it, and then usually the motion is like push and pull and just bending, but sometimes you have like rotational, right? So that's why the femur is ball shaped, because you need rotational motility. But that's tangential to the point that the reptiles, the marine reptiles, show a tendency to have like an excessive amount of these little Lego pieces of bone, which is really hard to explain. I'm just gonna put a picture in the Discord of a fin, like an ichthyosaur fin, and you'll see what I mean. But not, and they'll these bones won't be articulated like your hand, right? They'll be fused together to make a fin because the organism needs to swim. But anyways, there I was telling my father about all this and being like, yeah, so all of this bio stuff that you learn, you just take it and you apply it to other stuff. So I pointed out that the pteranodon to him, which is the flying reptiles, right? And I was like, you can look at that as like a pteranodon, but you can also look at that as like a plane, right? And take hints from the pteranodon to make a, you know, to make a plane or something that can fly. And you see that when people were learning to fly, right? Some people actually just straight up took wings, and I think some of them died trying. Which is rather sad. A rusted sword, burn drive for the Genesect that we don't have, and the memory for the Silvally that we don't have. Oh, spec seems kind of good though. But yeah, that's why I like streaming, because I get to get it out of my system. So I'm very appreciative that you guys like to hear me ramble on about science and stuff. Because I feel like there's few other circumstances where I'd be allowed to do that. Granted, none of what I'm saying is getting put up to any scrutiny except for whatever scrutiny I'm applying to myself. So that's why I'm a bit fussy about scrutinizing what I'm saying and finding sources, because you don't have peer review. Yeah, science is pretty awesome. If you're rambling, it's probably about art history. Oh, do you study that? Do you study art history? Okay, let's hand this over to Ninetales. EV Light Dragon thing. Lefties. I had to for your last shop. Did you work at like at a museum as like a tour guide? Or like a library? I'm trying to think about situations where you would where you'd need art history. And it's like a museum, library, or like a teaching assistant. I wish you did something so cool you were an educator. Was it at a museum or at a school? Usually museums are in schools, actually. Public school teacher, you hated it? Oh, okay. I feel like the public school teacher life can also very easily move into babysitting. Which is probably fine. Because if you can keep the... We did watch that one video a bit ago. Too many hats. Too many ads. I'm sorry about the ads. I have it set to... Maybe there's an optimal that's not a minute 30. Alright, I think it's fuck it, we ball time. All this rambling just to lose. That would be if I want to lead with sun. Yeah, if it's a weather condition I don't like, I want to erase that immediately. If it's terrain condition, then I will cry. But Ilima... Behold them. Who are you? The only, the magnificent Pokemon of the one and only Ilima. It looks like there's no terrain or anything like that, but I don't know what type you specialize in. I have no idea who this trainer is. I've like never encountered them. Ambipom. We'll wait here until the ads are over. I realize this is a poor time to continue the... It's supposed to be yap during ads and then play game off of ads. But I guess we'll do it backwards. This is a... I guess functionally a podcast with a game attached. Where you guys get to teach me about stuff. So what are our odds that Ninetales will win here? Ninetales is a very valuable component of the team that we've designated as Sun Team. Steelix will be able to take everything with its high defense, so I don't think it's even worth risking Ninetales. We got 30 seconds left until we can continue. Oh, man, I'm like super happy in a museum. Everything. I want to know everything about okay, well, the stuff that I don't like I'll just skip over, right? But there's like a compulsion to consume all I won't read every okay, that's a lie. I do sometimes just read everything that they've written about. But at least post university. Now we're back. Welcome back from the ads. Ninetales is going to be preserved. We're going to go into Steelix. Like when I went to the Royal Tyrell, my parents are always like, dude, you take so long in a museum that they have to accommodate more time on the plan for me to like do what I want. Because I would take pictures, I would read everything, and then I'd be like, I must know more. So then when I came out of university, I kind of retained the stuff. All right, excellent. Welcome back from the ads. Hopefully they weren't the same ad multiple times in a row. I've heard people have experienced that, and that sounds very sad. It wasn't? Okay. So it wasn't the worst possible set. But I guess the worst situation where you get the same ad like 10 times in a row is actually quite funny, so. Well, for, not for the person experiencing it. But afterwards, when you explain the story, it'll probably be funny. Yeah, so the university, oh my god, it's Ursula, it's Freddy Fazbear. Why do you have Freddy Fazbear? Do we even have a way to defeat this? Okay. Nutrient cycle. Okay, we don't have celery, we're getting Napa cabbage. Thank you for the redeem, Ausonia. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna die to Freddy Fazbear, the Pokemon one. But the Napa will save us, like Popeye spinach. I should have had it prepped. Dude, I think if I keep voluntarily eating like a rabbit, eventually I'll just become a rabbit. So I swear it's all veggies, but it is quite healthy, so. Yeah, when I had the free choice of picking courses, I really tried to get a wide variety of stuff in the curriculum. I kind of dodged the business stuff. But the science and the arts are kind of like stuck together. Like I had to take some art electives when doing science. But I'm pretty sure no one retains what's in the class. Da Vinci taught us anything, they certainly are. Oh yeah, you know about art history. Do you have any crazy art history facts? But the only thing that saved my ass in uni was the cross correlation between courses. 'Cause I was a lazy robot. Like I wouldn't study. So when I needed to do a course, right? I'm studying a course on animal cells. I think it's animal cell biology, right? I leveraged my my upper year course to answer questions that I had not studied for. For example, crocodiles, their heart has a little like the human heart is chambered. Are any particular areas that interest you, like art movements? Okay, how much do you know about vorticism? Type it out. This is kind of niche, but I read it in a book, and I wonder how real it is, because it was a guy writing about his own philosophy, and I was wondering if he's crazy. Vorticism, which is not a movement like in music, like Baroque, Renaissance, and did I shoot they pick something completely niche? The guy that was writing about it might have been crazy, so I wouldn't know. A suspicious root word? I thought it was vortex. Inspired by Cubism. It's a modernist. Oh wait, that's actually no. Like a vortex. So as a response to Cubism, it's vortex, which is a vorticism. See, if it was voracity, that would be consumption. Okay, do you know about modernism versus postmodernism? Because that one, it still befuddles me. I thought I had a grasp on it, but then I didn't. So that would be something I'd like to learn more about. Yeah, what was I saying? I had to study for an exam for like the lower level animal cell stuff and how they differentiate. But in my upper year class for herpetiles, which is the combination of reptiles and amphibians, I learned that the crocodilian heart has this kind of valve thing that connects the two chambers. Let me see what I can do for you. All right, sounds good. So like the chambers in your heart, right? I think that humans have a 4-chambered heart. Human heart chambers. 4 chambers. And so there's like an oxygenated and deoxygenated chamber, right? Because it goes in the chambers, gets oxygenated, and then gets sent out, right? And the heart pumps it through. And then I think the air, like it's just moving around the air, the blood with air and the blood without air to get it to where it needs to go to give energy and stuff. People think of modernists today, but in art history, modernism actually starts later in the 1800s with styles like Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. Yeah, I think postmodernism is a reaction to modernism, and we're in like a postmodern thing with art. But yeah, let me stop jumping between the thoughts, because they're both kind of complex. So anyways, yeah, chambers in the human heart are either going to have oxygenated or not oxygenated blood. Right, but crocodiles have this little valve between the chambers, so that when they need to go underground to and they're air breathing, right? So they don't have gills or anything like that. They'll they need to, you know, become efficient with their oxygen usage because they want to stay underwater for as long as possible. The valve equalizes the oxygenated and not oxygenated blood in the heart, so the chambers are like mixed rather than separate. And I think they do that to use less air. And I think that's a crocodilian specific thing. I want to find out what it's called. But I had to use that information from the upper year reptile course to answer the lower year bio course, because I didn't study for it. But I was like, oh, thank God this question was in the upper year, so I could just steal from that. Postmodernism is a reaction to modernism, and I think it's somewhat up to debate whether we're still in that or we moved on to something else. Regardless, if it's something today, it's contemporary. Okay, so like the one art piece that's like Ceci, or what is the French? How do you say pipe? Ceci n'est pas une pipe. Is that modernism? Like, this is not a pipe? I remember walking in Japan, and there was like a random little easel thing with a banana taped to it, and I was like, is that a modernist piece of art because it's talking about, you know, the real world, like the absolute real world and not how we represent it? But that's because the idea of the two are like messed up in my brain. Also, this Ursaluna is just gonna kill us. I just got jump scared again. Do we have Leaf Storm? Oh, Tom, you fraud. I got rid of our guys with grass moves. We're gonna get super punished. This is not a pipe. Dadaism, early 1900s, part of the modernist period. What is Dadaism? And where does Cubism fall? Is Cubism postmodern? It feels like post... Nope. If Vorticism is a reaction to Cubism, then I feel like Cubism would be modernist. Because postmodernism, I feel like that's after World War II. But I don't have any source to validate that. You would know better than me. Oh, Dadaism. A radical anti-art movement that emerged in Zurich, Switzerland, as a protest against the horrors and perceived irrationality of World War I. Postmodernism is more like the 80s plus. Okay. They incorporated chance into their creative process. Anti-art and anti-establishment. How can you be anti-art? Nonsense and irrationality. The Dadaists explored various forms, including performance, poetry, graphic design, painting, sculpture, collage, photo montage, and the use of everyday objects. Who made Ceci n'est-ce pas un pipe? René Magritte, Belgian surrealist painter. Picasso is a cubist. We are so dead. Gigaton Hammer. Volk has high Spadef and high health. But not the... We don't want to risk losing that guy. Maybe Ninetales with a Spec Solar Beam. But we don't want to eat an Earth Power. If this guy had Leaf Storm, it would be totally doable. We don't want to eat a Blood Moon either. We're just going to sack Steelix. This is where the ride ends, little bro. Dadaism being anti-art is about deconstructing what actually counts as art. It's about making you question what it is about art that gives it value. A lot of art history involves an institution or a board of high mucky mucks who decide what is good art and what is not. Many movements are directly in opposition to the institution because screw what a bunch of old farts think. Yeah, I think that's the sentiment of postmodernism. Because even in writing, there's like a transition away from, you know, structured styles, right? Like sonnets or... It's like one example. Well, our best shot is Ninetales. Let's do a quick base power check. Flamethrower, Solar Beam. Solar Beam X2 is 240. Flamethrower times 2.25 is 180. And then it's like 9, 18, 22.5. Like 202.5. So Solar Beam is going to be stronger. Also because whatever is the movement of today becomes the respected art history of tomorrow. It was once rebellious. Okay, he just died. Okay, good work. Good work, Ninetales. You got Freddy Fazbear. becomes the respected art history of tomorrow. It was once rebellious to paint in an impressionist style, where not all the strokes are perfectly rendered and blended. Now it's classic. A lot of people hate dadaism. I'm not the biggest fan myself, but I get what they were going for. So what do you think they were going for then? That's my follow-up question. And thank you for sharing this information. I find it interesting to learn about. I've noticed that a lot of people I'm encountering on that VTube have a lot of information like this just locked up in the brain. And I'm always like, huh, I wonder why they've chosen to be a VTuber, which is a question I should be shooting at myself. But instead of worrying about that, it's probably more fun just to share our information. I mean, we're all doing a bit of art. I haven't made this model, but I did the concept design for it, and I think I might try my hand at making my own at some point. On the one hand, you appreciate those who want to challenge authority and status quo. On the other hand, it seeks to deconstruct and devalue art itself, to which I say, why you gotta be a hater? You know, sometimes being a hater, I don't know if this is like, if you're a Dadaist, right? And you're in that situation. You're probably just like, I hate the establishment. But there's probably at least one example where the dude's like, okay, if I push this movement and it dies, it reinforces that art has value. So, like, in the long term, like, it died, right? It wasn't going to be the... We aren't all going to start, you know, plastering bananas onto easels, right? It's the movement where you can take an object you do not make, sign it, and present it as your own work in a museum. Hashem's fountain. Yeah, so the fact that it died means that art does have value, but you wouldn't have, we wouldn't have that conviction if this counter push didn't happen. So in the long term, I think it's a net positive. I think that would mean I would cope and say that the Dadaists are double agents because they're proving a point, right? That art has value by using the opposite. But I'm sure not everybody was thinking like that. Some people might have been like, totally drinking the Kool-Aid, being like, "No, this is real art." Because you could totally get yourself lost in the argument of like, you know, when you draw a banana, you might use a banana for reference, right? So, like, you know, is what you were drawing that banana just in a different way? Especially when you, when did photography happen? Because I know there was a lot of pushback to photography because it was like a cheat code. I think that must have been after Dadaism, if Dadaism was like the early 1900s. Ditto. I don't think you want to be my Tinkaton, bro. We'll just go into Volk. The banana, that's a contemporary work and really wrestle a lot of shimmies. Not I think it's funny, but it's so ridiculous to me that people have been at value. You buy the work by buying a certificate to license it and to play a banana in the same way. It's the same thing that privileged people wouldn't. Not something that actually contributes to humanity. Yeah, I think at the upper level, people are just buying to be like, I can buy whatever I want. But the fact that we don't value it means that this is like super abstract. But like, I wouldn't buy it because we know what art is. And so if the guys doing Dadaism can dupe the guys who don't understand art into buying stuff that is clearly not art, that's like a net gain for the artists, I'm pretty sure. Because, like, if you actually make it, you won't be fooled. Oh, I could fool myself into believing it. With the whole, you know, hyperrealism is an art style. And when you use a camera, you're, like, getting a picture of it. So if you use the real thing is the closest thing to the real thing that you're, that you want to draw, especially if you're going down the whole of hyperrealism. Because rather than taking the fountain and then using it as inspiration to draw the fountain, you're cutting out the middleman and just taking the fountain. I don't actually believe this with any conviction. I'm just playing with the idea of it. My example when I was talking to people about art during the stuff that the industrial revolution allowed for mass production of like artisan goods, right? Like shoes or whatnot. And like if your friend makes you a handmade shoe, you'll probably value that more than buying like a Nike shoe from the store. Off the basis that human-made work has inherent value because it's human-made and made with effort. The Banana Comedian by Catalan. Okay, so it's the Comedian or Comedian by Catalan. Let me look this up. Edition of 3. It was a mock-up. It was exactly the Comedian that I saw in Japan. Like, okay, not that like a replica of it. A certificate of authenticity. Is it conceptual art? It's the concept that is the art, not the actual banana duct tape to the wall, not my favorite, but that's basically what Dada was doing too. Okay, query. This is a hypothetical that once again I have no conviction in. I've seen it described as postmodern. If they purchase the certificate, then it's the real thing. What if you grow the banana? Like you go get a tree and you grow the banana, and then you take that banana and you raise the tree, right, to get to the banana, then do the tape. Does that become real art? Rather than a banana you bought at like the store? If they purchase the certificate, it's the real thing. Oh, like a certificate to use the art piece. I think I'm just gonna QD. Like, this guy's locked in. He might just struggle. Depends on presentation and what you call it. These are the kinds of questions that Dada and conceptual artists want you to ask. Okay, so I'm picking up what they're putting down then. But I think if you full send Dadaism, right, to the extreme and fool the rich guy into paying you an exorbitant amount of money for the piece, then you win. Seems like a good way to filter. Pretty sure the name implies the purpose of comedian. Yeah, buying it is the joke, exactly. What is the word for there's a word I was thinking of. So like the recipient, the butt of the joke. Yeah, the butt of the joke are the people that don't understand what art is, and they're just doing it to posture, being like, yeah, I have this high art piece that I bought for like $10 million, and it's a banana called the Comedian, and they don't care what it means or what the question is. They just want it for I don't know why they'd want it. They'll have their reasons. With the shoe, now you're getting into the debate of art versus craft. I dislike the crafts are often excluded from the arts if it serves a purpose other than just being displayed. It tends to be labeled as a craft, no matter how much skill and design went into it. There's a division between art and craft. I feel like they're the same thing, but I could be wrong, because I'm not too knowledgeable. But if you buy a high-end shoe, you're buying the art part of it, right? Like Lady Gaga's meat dress is an art piece. It's not a craft. I had the discussion about the meat dress with a friend of mine, and I talked to her about art. You don't typically teach crafts in an academic classroom, but I taught fiber arts anyways. Oh, what are fiber arts? No, that doesn't make because a lot of culture in like if you incorporate cultural relativism, weaving, that's where I'm thinking, because like woven baskets are something you commonly find, right, in different indigenous tribes, and I still think that's a form of art, right? The ability to make that woven basket is an artistic thing, and they'll have styles that differ between the localities. Knitting and crochet apply as well. Fiber arts is anything with fiber materials like string, yarn, fabric, etc. It feels like saying the cave drawing is an art piece, but the woven basket is not, when both are like representations of culture. What they did, and like if you make a woven basket and you put flowers into it, that's kind of artistic, right? You're putting it in it for a reason. I wonder what philosophy of art I would fall under. And like the cave drawings, you look at them and you learn about the world around you. Like your kid's stuck in the cave and you want to show them what a mammoth is, and you don't want them to get smashed to death. The drawing serves a function. Knit, crochet, needlepoint, cross stitch, weaving, punch needle, dyeing process, etc. Dude, Ace-Roy, do you have a revelation? Okay, let's destroy this. I'd like to imagine that this statement about representation of culture gets dangerously into anthropology. Yo, what's dangerous about anthropology? Am I doing that cross-curricular, like, grabbing? Am I encroaching on anthropology, or am I like going into a danger zone of like this is completely wrong? The vastness of its study. Yeah, that's super broad. What would I feel like Wigglytuffs are special attackers. I don't know. They're either stealth rocks that are T-wave trolls, or they're anthropologists or like archaeologists on crack. They are actually. It's so, dude. Even the osteologist, the one that studies bones. Here's the thing: these things were traditionally done by women and not men. Additionally, they're often done more frequently by indigenous. Do you mean indigenous or indigenous, like and being like, you know? Indigenous is like male? The institution historically valued the work of... Okay, indigenous. Dude, the root words, whenever I see the misspelling, especially with something like this, that's like, okay, I'm learning more, I get I see that as the root word, like misandry is prejudice against men, with the andro being the root. So I see and there, and I'm like, is this a new word I could use? But no, I hope you don't mind that. I understand. Bell Beaker burial rites. Is that the vulture one, the sky burial, or is that something different? Burial rites. Wigglytuff. We're just gonna dance on the Wigglytuff. It's an art statement. Single individual inhumations, often crouched in position, accompanied by a distinctive bell-shaped pottery beaker and sometimes other grave goods tools. Like, that's messed up. Bell beaker. Intrusive to Western Europe from Central Pharaohs. The Dutch bell. Fiber Arts is kind of having a moment right now for that reason. It's a symbol of feminism. The women artists are taking the methods of creating challenging works of art with the intent to display in art galleries. Well, I hope they can break the glass ceiling. I hope anyone can break the glass ceiling. I think anybody who wants to get their work in a museum should have the chance to. They would bury them with their favorite wines and spirits. Yo, why is that living rent-free in your head? Is that how you want to be buried? And if so, what would be the wines and spirits? Here. Okay, we're in agreement to that baseline. Excellent. I think I learned in school the difference between there's two things. Equality and equity. I like to be a tree or a rock. It's just so far from us culturally. Okay, I legitimately thought you said that because you like to talk about European culture stuff, right? Like the Welsh. So I was like, dude, is that how you want to go out? Because that seems like kind of a raw way to do it. Tree or a rock. Like you turn into the... Like your bio... I like all sorts of cultures everywhere. It's just... you can have a preference of stuff you want to study, right? Like I like... paleontology, but I have a preference for reptiles and archosaurs. Damn, this does look cool. And something we would never do. Well, maybe someone has done it. Meat and alcohol was such an important religious aspect to their culture, they were buried with it. And yeah, it is mainly the meat. It is a lot harder to become a rock than it is to become a tree, I think. Because if you were to get like okay, I don't need to get into the horror. There's companies that will bury remains with the seeds or roots of a tree that your family can plant. Your remains will become food. Yeah, you get decomposed, and then whatever organics that like the whatever organic material is you're made up of will get repurposed, because nobody wants to build the same life building blocks, right? They'll just use whatever's already there to make their own stuff. Like for example, the poison dart frogs aren't naturally poisonous. It's their diet that creates the poison. So it's something like that. Actual venom is like a evolutionary offshoot of saliva. But if you want to become a rock, that's so much harder. Because you need to turn into like your basic... well, coal could be possible. You'll be buried with a headstone as my lineage has done since the Roman times. That makes sense. Follow the ancestry. I had a moment like that where I was like, okay, I can't escape my culture. There's a company that will process your ashes to form several stones. They're not sure why, but there are different colors that can result. It's chemical. What body composition makes what colors? Well, quartz is a mineral. And quartz is basically silicon O2, SiO2, silicon dioxide, and it's mineralized. However, within the subset of quartz, you get so many different colors. Like you get the rose quartz, you have, I think amethyst is a variant of quartz. So there's like something chemical going on there, but I can't really speak on that company. What I do know is that you can actually use isotope levels to trace the origins of where some like atoms that are, I guess atoms, like what's an example to make this easier to understand? If you want to understand past atmospheres, right? Like the composition of the sea level or atmosphere carbon dioxide levels or stuff, you go to the Arctic and you drill a core into the ice. And if you get the right core, the isotopes of the isotope ratio, because like, you know, there's oxygen, which is Where is it on the periodic table? Like 8? Oxygen has naturally occurring 3 naturally occurring stable isotopes: 16O, 17O, and 18O. So I think that's the amount of neutrons, if I remember correctly, for the isotopes. And don't know my rocks very well. Are quartz basically? Well, quartz are minerals. Minerals are chemicals, right? Minerals and rocks are a bit different. We're gonna kill this Wigglytuff while we're doing this. And they're not the same chemicals. The human body, you learn about it in... they need a lot of vitamins and minerals to survive, but your basic biological components are carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and I think it's sulfur as well, which can be turned into a lot of rocks. Preserve the body, I don't think there's much harm in other burial methods. It's better. Yeah, it's cultural relativism, basically. There's no right way to do it. It's whatever you... whatever is... you would feel most fulfilled by. Like, it's a personal thing. And it's relative. But yeah, even within, like, you know, the oxygen is like one organic, like very common atom you see in organic, organic life, right? And so oxygen has isotopes 16, and then 17 is 1 extra neutron, 18 is 2 extra neutrons. And so if you have more neutrons, you are heavier, right? That makes sense, right? You have more mass, right? But when you apply gravity to mass, you get weight. So O18 is heavier than O16. And that means when water evaporates from the sun, the heavier oxygen will actually stay in the water, and the lighter oxygen, the O16, will come up out of the air preferentially. So you can use that and the ratio between how much you know, the isotope ratio of O16 to O18 to kind of predict what the temperatures in the temperature-ish, like, it won't be perfect, right? It's never going to be one-to-one. You have to cross-reference it with other disciplines. But the basic idea is that if there's a higher ratio of... well, it's pockets of air. I'm trying to think about how they would do this, but I don't remember the methodology. Just when it's hotter, there'll be more O16 in the air, right? And so there'll be... the ratio will change. And this is a horrible explanation. I need to correct this. I'll take out my rage in the next Pokemon. Oh wait, no, the battle's already over. What? Atmosphere isotope ratios. Stable isotope ratio. Well, that's for carbon dating. We're not worried about carbon dating. We're worried about oxygen. I swear to God, I did this in university. For my, I think it was marine, or no, it was atmospheric oxygen isotope ratio cycle. Yeah, so it's a measure of climate change. With the O16, 17, and 18. Most abundant is O16, which makes sense. It's the normal oxygen without the neutrons added to it. And the ratio, I'm not sure when the embalming opened Ceci, but I do know it's very recently. Yeah, our sense of time for, like, recent history is crazily, like, we have no, it's a shifting baseline. So, like, trends that started, like, 100 years ago would kind of feel like they've always been that way for us. Like, they're givens in society. Because, like, embalming requires fluid, right? So that would probably necessitate a bit of chemical knowledge, if not alchemical, because that's probably what it was called before. The okay, there we go. Connection between temperature. The 18O and 16O ratio provides a record of ancient water temperature. Water 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the modern era represents glaciation. And so glaciation just means that ice is forming. And so a glacier is when there's snow remains over the year and then more snow comes on top of it. Like, the rate of ice accumulation is greater than the melting. That's just glaciation. As colder temperatures spread out toward the equator, water vapor rich in oxygen 18 preferentially rains out at lower latitudes. Okay, so the heavier oxygen will also condense preferentially, right? Because it's heavier, so it kind of wants to go down more than at least more than oxygen 16. And higher latitudes will have more O16. So when it's cold, you will not have a lot glacial ice, because glacial ice is usually fresh water because it's coming down as precipitation. So you look at the ice core and you look at the content, because the content of the ice core is whatever is evaporated. So if it's really hot, it'll be grabbing everything, so you will get more oxygen 18. But if it's cold, it won't be able to pull up the oxygen 18 because it's too heavy. That's a rough way of putting it. That means that the cold ice will have more O16, and then the warm ice will have more O18, because, you know, more energy is pulling up the heavier oxygen isotopes. That makes sense to me. There we go. That was definitely a selfish choice to expound on, but I had to know. And let me look up that question for when embalming. Sorry, embalming. Because that would be like when the job of the mortician kind of became a real thing. When did embalming start? You're gonna go for now. It was nice chatting with you. Alright. Sounds good. You have a good night, Augie Swamp Witch, and thank you for sharing your information with me. Material 17th and 18th century, so like not actually that long ago. I say as I'm talking about millions of years. Okay, there's another legendary. This could be Genesect. We definitely do not want a fire type. We're down a Steelix. Our team is looking pretty weak to water, especially weak to ground, so we don't want electric either. I think it's swarming, so this should have bugs, which will resist earthquake, which is our primary concern. Or beetle is okay. Charjavug is a bit silly. Is that it? Yon Mega. We're going for Yon Mega. That one could actually be huge, especially with the choice specs. Snow comes out, Drought corrects that. And we just throw the Ultra Ball and pray. This might not work. If this doesn't work, we'll just switch straight into Tinkaton. Speed boost? Nope. So I wonder what you would have, like Compound Eyes? Because I think Yanma gets Compound Eyes and Speed boost, and then Tinted Lens is the hidden ability. Alright, we'll fight this guy. We're at a bit of a disadvantage because we haven't leveled up. So I probably should put the herd on some of these bugs and then look for our addition to the team. Especially if Tyranitar pulls up. Hello, sir. This is funny. It'll snow, it'll turn into drought, and then turn into sand from a sand stream. So there's like 3 weathers going on. And Gigaton is super effective, so hopefully this will one-shot, but given Tyranitar's HP and defense, I find that highly unlikely. Yo, dude, the Three Houses soundtrack to Pokemon, playing Emerald Rogue and talking about stuff that we're interested in is quite a vibe. You missed play rough. If you die, that is your fault, MC Hammer. You're like the only one who can do this. So we're gonna have to heal you up and send you right back in. Okay, do you mind if I ask you a question, Ace Roy? What is the fun fact that you're gonna take with you? If you have one. Because we covered a lot of ground, and there's probably something that's like crazy interesting that you could that is worth taking away as like a memory to like show off to your friends or whatever. And if you don't have one, that's fine. I just want to know what I want to know about retention. Not like retention for streaming, but like for the stuff I'm saying. Science of communication. Definitely the way global temperature is measured. It's freaking cool, right? Bro, the people that study it through historical eras, yeah, they have to go to the poles. Since we're in since I'm in Canada, the researchers go up to the North Pole. And they get ice cores. And sometimes they get accosted by the animals up there, like the polar bears and sea leopards. That's why you need a gun. But we have drones now. But the ice cores are like super cool. It was a crazy revelation to realize that they use the ice itself because that captures the atmosphere. Because the flow of oxygen between the air and the water is like crucial to paleo. What would the study be called? I guess it's paleo environment reconstruction. All right, we're hitting him. We cannot hit him. I think we're just gonna use Tinkaton to get through it all. We're gonna knock off the item, probably get the T-spikes laid down, and then drop the hammer. I want to do stuff like that, but it's so it's kind of debilitating being like, damn, there's so much to learn. How do I pick what I want to study? Okay, we have a lot of poison spikes, so switching out would be very not good. On the plus side, Gigaton Hammer kind of 6-0s. And I mean that to say, like, you know, the environmental conditions, when you reconstruct a paleo environment, will inform the ecology or what animals are there. You have so many game ideas you want to create. Oh yeah, I'm there too, buddy. Not as much as you, because my head is in a different place, but a little bit, right? Do you have a notebook where you write down? Oh, have you ever had a game idea that came to you in a dream? One of my friends was talking to me about that. I think Tinkaton might die here. Nope. Okay, if it crit, it died, but MC Hammer is too powerful. When you get a game idea that comes to you in a dream, I'd like to know. You're more a daydreamer? Oh yeah, daydreaming. It's fun though. I used to be the kid, or I don't know how many, I didn't know how many kids shared my experiences until I looked at memes on the internet. Like that whole, you look outside your car window and you imagine like something happening there, like a transformer, or like a guy running, the ninja running across the car trip or whatever. I was like, wait, I'm not the only one? That was mind-blowing. But yeah, what's your example? You still have that vivid imagination? Oh, that's good. Alright, we're gonna roasty toasty this charger bug. It never got any weaker as I grew older. Damn. I've been getting a bit better at it. Imagination. Like, I have a hard time picturing things, but sometimes it'll be clear as day. Especially if it's something I've seen a lot. Like my room. But it's a crazy thing that you have that vivid imagination. That's definitely going to be debilitating when you're making games, because that's like making a fantasy world. But hey, you have the shaders and the spriting now. So that's like a huge step closer. Admittedly, my brain was thinking of something. Like a tangent to go off of. Yeah, it'll come back to me when I need it. There's like 3 on Megas. One of these guys will have speed boost. But I'm not sure how to check. Maybe I should just lead Tinkaton. Because this is not it. This sounds like exactly this sounds like the original, not a remake. Oh, it is just oh. Yucatan knockoff, play rough. How long have we been going for? 2 hours and 7 minutes. Ad break in 3 minutes. It is 8:40. We'll go for 20 more minutes. End at 9. I tried a quick assessment of the time frame. You do not have speed boost, so you're getting tossed to the trash. Okay, Gigaton Hammer, please do not kill it. This could be our speed booster. There he is. Oh yeah, I was talking about how like everything you learn, because science as an institution, right? Since you want to find consensus between different groups, so if you have a basic question, right? Like, what was the environment or climate like, you know, however long ago, right? You'll have different specialists in different disciplines all attack the same question from their angle, and then they argue within each other to reach a consensus, right? But if I'm walking around being like, okay, this is how the ice core researchers do it, and then I see people that use a different method, there are probably different methods, and then people, like, you can also debate about how like real a method is. It's probably like a, you know, sweeping the legs, being like, actually your method is wrong, so we don't care about it in our you know, finding of consensus, which is one angle of attack for peer review. But the larger point is, like, the studies very much influence each other, so it is very like analogous to how it would be with making games, right, and having a lot of the ideas. It's just like, man, I don't want to spend my life learning one discipline and then have to go up to bat for that one discipline. That sounds like hell. And that's not really we need more information thing. That's I want to attack a problem from every angle possible. And I can't do that if I'm having to fight for the efficacy of, like, some weird Frankenstein of disciplines that is emergent from what we have, right? So, like, something that's that I saw a lot more as I went up in the years is, like, people being super specialized in, like, what's a good random example? You take, like, chem and you slap well, you can slap geology onto any of these, so like geochem, geophys, geobio. And I'm more familiar with that because I studied in the geo department. like it gets super way more niche than that, right? So a dendrochronology, that is the study of tree ring ages or tree ages. Dendrochronology, dating things using trees. Yeah, the science of dating events, environmental change, and archaeological artifacts by using the characteristic patterns of annual growth rings in timber and tree trunks. And it's like, that is a method I could use. And that's something I'd be interested in because it sounds cool. But then, like, I don't want to be dendrochronology's biggest defender. Because every discipline will have its own, you know, detractors or people being like, this isn't real or whatever. It's pretty common. Like, I feel like my professors have told me that there are people that come into the conferences and they say plate tectonics is not real. And I'm like, damn. What a wonderful world. Just refusing to believe in plate tectonics. But hey, he could be right. Like, probably not. But paradigms do shift. Let's use a heal ball. It's kind of cute. You just have to pick one and support it. Others, yeah, exactly. Others will do the same for their disciplines. Bro, people get super personal about it, I think, too. I would hate to be in the situation where I'm like, actually, I want to use this, I like this technique. And then they're like, you have betrayed us. You have betrayed us, the collective dendrochronologists, by using carbon dating. You are no longer one of the dendrochronologists. That'd be kind of funny, actually. And when you write papers, you do take the work of other specialists. But it's finding that one methodology that's like, has fun. I think for me, it's whatever method or whatever specialization would have funding, because I could probably pick up on what I mean to say is I was looking at graduate projects, because at the end of the museum, right, there was a whole array of grad projects that people are doing that spans across the subject material of the museum, which moves from ecology to paleontology to, like, you know, a natural history, right, very broadly. And I was like, I could see myself doing any of this. So I told my dad, it's about finding the one that's has the infrastructural support, or like would make it not painful to us to study, right? Because it's probable that I would try to learn about all the methods, like, given I had like infinite time, I would want to know about every single one of them. So it's more about what I want to do when, which is probably a product of circumstance. And that's where I'm at right now. Solving that itch to, like, preach about science, all of it at once, which I'm glad you guys enjoy. I know there are some YouTube videos of, like, the entire history of a universe, and it's, like, meant to be boring and long so that you fall asleep to it. And, like, that's a trend across a lot of different... It's not just science, right? Even there are some, like, nerd channels that do that, like, for Transformers or... Like, when I saw it in a Transformers channel, I was like, damn. This is perfect. This is pervasive. It's everywhere. To which, like, I was like, maybe I could find success doing something like that. And we were going to use a heal ball. Please do not U-turn out of the game. That would be very sad. Oh yeah, so part of the reason why Yanmega is likely called Yanmega is because the animal that it's based off of is the Meganeura, which means a giant dragonfly. So if you look up Meganeura, I don't know why. The period makes it look scarier than it actually is. That was a misclick. And so even now, looking at Yanmega, because you evolve from Yanma when you learn Ancient Power, which is like suggesting the evolution's based on Ancient Power. Licky does it when it's rollout. The Ancient Power ones are Yanma, Piloswine. I think there's one more. Ancient Power evolutions Pokemon. Tangela into Tangrowth. I'm not sure of what's going on with Tangrowth. But at least in the case of Piloswine into the Mammoth, like Mammoth is extinct, it's using Ancient Power, it's turning into the Mammoth, which makes sense. For this guy, there was a point in time called the Carboniferous, and this is where a lot of our coal deposits come from, the Carboniferous, because it's so full of plants, right? And plants are usually your carbon material. So in addition to being where, you know, the layer of the part of in geologic history where we look for the Carboniferous deposits to look for oil and natural gas, the oxygen content, because there were so many plants, was a lot higher. And what that means is that arthropods, like, you know, insects and stuff, you know, like the Hollow Knight guys, right? All those insects, they actually scale their size with oxygen because they don't have a respiratory system. The oxygen gets in through diffusion. I think they have holes in there to allow oxygen to pass through, like diffusive, passive respiration for arthropods with an exoskeleton, no lungs. Diffusive respiration, nope. So because they don't have a way to like move oxygen into their body with muscles like lungs like we have, they're very much dependent on the environment to provide the necessary oxygen. So as oxygen content in the atmosphere increases, it allows the insects or arthropods in general to grow larger because there's enough oxygen to accommodate for it. So the plants are there making oxygen. The extra oxygen feeds into the insect size, and that's our hypothesis for why all the insects, all the arthropods got super big during the Carboniferous. And there's probably some predation, lack of predation pressure also occurring. But there is an upper limit, right? Because you have the surface area to volume problem, right? Whereas you get too big, like passive diffusion will not, you know, it won't be enough for the body to be supported. With the, like, oxygen won't get to the parts of the body it needs to in time. So the cells will just die, they won't have energy. And that's like the surface area volume thing. But there's also another idea that it's also a structural support. So like if you take a crab, which is an arthropod that does the same sort of respiration. Oh wait, no, they have book lungs. Some insects have book lungs. When did book lungs evolve? I might have did an oopsie. When did book lungs evolve? In the early Devonian. So they had them. But I swear the arthropod exoskeleton. They get oxygen through tubes. Tracheae and tracheals, essentially ductwork. Yeah, so the arthropods have, or insects, I guess, have basically air ducts in their exoskeleton to allow air to move through. That would be a good way to explain it. Tubes called tracheae, or trachea. So, larger point, arthropod size is a function of oxygen level in the atmosphere. So if you want to see big bugs, global warming, I think, will do it. Or maybe not, because that adds CO2, but you want a higher ratio of O2, which means more plants. So no more burning the forest, so the insects will get smaller. But that's why insects are relatively small. Like all your big guys have the hardware to support being big, which is, you know, in addition to lungs that can force air through, right? And get and a circulatory system that moves air to places in the body where it needs to be. They also have the bones to support the weight of gravity. There are some insects, a lot of insects are absurdly strong for their body size, though. Why did I click knockoff? Please don't die on Mega. Okay, one more hint. It's 8:54. We're going to finish him off and then end the stream there. But thank you, Yon Mega, for being an accessory to me ranting about the Carboniferous. I bet this could be a good VOD as well. If my voice was easy enough to listen to. Where are my Pokeballs? We'll use the heal ball. You don't think it... Oh, well, I don't really... Like, I've listened to my voice back. And I'm like... Sometimes I can hear my little things I do, like if I swallow saliva and stuff. But I'm like, damn, is my voice... I hate recordings of my voice. Yeah, so I'm always fighting that. But you know you can sing? Yeah, I feel like singing is something every person should be able to, so I don't know why I have this, like, irrational idea that I can't. Don't worry. Yeah, that's a fair point. Like, the people that find my voice listenable will find me. So it's part selection process and part trying to not screech. Unless someone dies for no reason, then I'll be like, God damn it. You failure of an experiment. Okay, but can we get you in the heal ball, Yon Mega? Like, please? We could try a different Pokeball. If we had a netball, that would be good. Do you want to be my friend? I'm not sure if you have the brain capacity for that aside of eusociality, which is more like programming than it is you know, cognizance. It's very easy to reprogram an insect. That's why the fungus do it. I can't believe the fungus have found a way to reprogram the insect brain, but if you can turn an insect into an ant drone, like, definitely the funguses have it on lock as well. That's a very weird way of wording it, but I think it's correct. The operative word being, I think. Yon Mega, please. I know what you are. You're a Meganera. Get in the ball. Don't make me pull out the diatomaceous earth. I will do it. I'm gonna look at what it actually does. So that my thread isn't empty. I can actually explain how it'll happen. Dude, as soon as I gave him the thread of diatomaceous earth, he was like, all right, I understand. Have a good day. I'm gonna join your party under threat of horrible death. How does it work? We're gonna answer this question and then wrap up. We'll do a save. We're gonna call him Dadaism because I want to remember that. Ceci n'est pas une whatever the hell dragonfly is in French. So we'll hit the quick save. Diatomaceous earth causes insects to dry out and die by absorbing the oils and fats from the cuticle of the insect's exoskeleton. Its sharp edges are abrasive, speeding up the process. It remains effective as long as it is kept dry and undisturbed. Yeah, because as soon as it's wet, it can no longer absorb the oils and fats. So it sucks up the oils and fats, which are energy reserves, and then cuts up the cuticle because it's jagged in size. And like the scale of insects are so small that a jagged edge from diatomaceous kind of counts. Cheap viewers, goodbye. Okay, we're gonna get Ceci bot in here. But yeah, that was a fun stream. This VOD will probably be up on the YouTube. I'm feeling rather antisocial, so no raids this time as we coalesce our resources. So until tomorrow, where we'll actually be playing Pokemon. See you later, alligators.